Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your Evelyn Shorty. We're looking at the root of madness today, and I'm not going to mess around here. I honestly was a bit disappointed with this one. And I think part of that does come down to expectation, brilliant creative team involved, including one of the artists on House of Sloth, which I've been really enjoying recently. But unfortunately, when it comes down to it, one of the main reasons why I review issue ones pretty much exclusively, maybe I'll occasionally talk about an OGN or a one-shot or an anthology, but for the most part it is issue ones, is they are usually a very good indication of what you're going to get out of the rest of the series and whether or not it is worth picking up and carrying on with. And there are certain things I think issue ones kind of need to do to be successful. I was talking to a very good, very old friend of mine recently about the difference in some kind of media where I can watch the first episode of something and have no idea what's going on, but if it's well done, I'll want to carry on watching to find out what's going on, compared to, well, I've no idea what's going on, it just hasn't grabbed my attention, it feels like they just don't care if I know what's going on, they're like, just, kind of talking to themselves to a certain degree, and I'll drift away from that. I mean, it's happened with movies and TV shows and comic books in the past. This one is very much one of those comic book instances where, for the most part, it kind of ignores one of those key fundamental aspects of writing advice, which is, if this isn't the most exciting bit of your character's life, why are you telling me this bit of it? And don't get me wrong, I understand that not all writing advice should be treated as gospel. I do believe that, yes, show don't tell is good, but there are times when telling actually makes perfect sense within the story and for the characters to engage in the world in that way. And there's also the quite famous list of advice to writers, including the spectacular avoid alliteration always. And it shows that writing is open to interpretation and how we approach it can differ. But in this particular case, it really did fail to make me care too much about the characters. We have an opening sequence where, apart from an injury with some lye on the back of the hand and a kind of flashback story to something weird and madness-inducing happening, for the most part, the entire opening sequence was a character who clearly wanted to find out more and do exciting things and was told by a parental figure not to do that, to stop doing that. It's dangerous to do that. You're not ready to do that. You'll never know when you're ready to do that. You need to listen to me. And I'm just like, well, okay, this just makes me think that we're not going to get much else other than this main character, the child who then grew up in a later bit of the comic book, actually kind of figure out that, yeah, they shouldn't do that. Like, they've been told by a figure in authority repeatedly, over and over again, as it turns out, through quite a lot of their life, that the one thing they shouldn't do is try to be spectacular, to find out unusual things, to push boundaries. And that just strikes me as like a very, very good way to make your main character not very interesting. You're basically just showing like the opposite of what makes most childhood characters interesting, which is that they do push against authority, that they do go out on their own, that they do strike their own chord. And the fact that, yeah, significant portion of this comic book is no, don't do that. When you jump to the next significant portion of the comic book, we reach her as an adult when she's just got a job in a pharmacist. And it's pages of people just coming in to get treatments, and she provides them, and none of it is exciting, hardly any of it is even interesting. The only time it really picks up is we get the introduction of some other characters who feel far more interesting than the main character. One of them seems to be either in charge of or a member of some secret organisation which does push the boundaries of what is acceptable knowledge, and apparently can either travel in time or has access to amazing longevity powers. And I'm like, damn, I want to know more about this one. They have, I think, a partner who's been trying to find ways to entice our main character in. And I'm going, why do they care? Like, this is a really boring character. Why do you want to get her into your society? And then we find out that there is an actual artifact that she has recently come into possession of. And it feels like, well, if this is going to be about the artifact now, that again doesn't give me much reason to care about the character, because all they are is somebody who holds the thing. And honestly, by the end of the issue, I was like, well, the art's good. Really do like the artwork. Nice colouring. But so many opportunities to tell more interesting stories, especially after reading something like Bitterroot, which touches on, like, colonialism and institutionalised racism and how culture and society of the oppressed can be used to get people together into their own cultural ideas and push things forward in positive ways. So many opportunities to tell better stories, and unfortunately, this one just didn't. That's it for me for now, though. Until I see you all again, look after yourself, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.